Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name's Tina and I'm bobbing along nicely. First of all, welcome to those of you who are already subscribers and welcome to anybody new who's watching. This is just a general chat about me and my sewing, what I've been making, what I've been up to and where I've been. So this time last week I was at Crafty Sewing Camp. I was a bit nervous, I must admit. I've not slept in a dormitory or a bunk bed since I was in my probably teens, even maybe a bit younger. So quite a long time ago. I needn't have worried. It was the loveliest weekend with the nicest bunch of people I could have hoped to spend my time with. It was quite a long journey for me, so I set off about 9:15 on the Friday morning. But I got there in time to do a little bit of sewing on Friday evening before dinner. And then we were lucky enough with the weather that we sat outside. We had a barbecue for dinner. Everybody, we were catered for. So there was no washing up, no clearing of plates, any of that. And it was just a lovely weekend. I didn't actually manage to take any photos. I was so busy having fun. There are lots of photos over the internet. I'm sure that if you look at Crafty Sewing Camp on Instagram, they will probably post a short video about it soon as well. And if I do get some photos from other people, I'll try and share them in a future vlog. It was great. The sewing rooms, there were about 60 people, I think, but we were divided into different sewing rooms. So it wasn't too noisy. There were 4 different sewing rooms and people were coming and going because they were going and doing workshops. So actually it was a really chilled weekend. Lots of sewing, lots of chat, but not too much. I can't wait to go back next year. I'm really, really excited to go back. I've made friends, which is the great thing about sewing. It connects all of us, doesn't it? Wherever we are, whatever our skill level, whatever we're making. And it was really interesting to see other people, what they were making and which pattern companies they were using, because there were some pattern companies that I've never used. And I'll certainly now look at expanding my palette, if you like, of designers. So that was great. So the first thing I made when I was there was this. This is the side tie top. It's another version of the green one I showed you in the last vlog. It's super comfy. I got this quilting cotton on a recent trip to Birmingham. I believe it's by Debbie Shaw. I'm really pleased with it. In fact, husband has also asked if there's enough fabric left over to make him a shirt. So that might be something I do if there's enough, or if I can source some more fabric online. But that was my first sew. I thought I'd start off with an easy project whilst I got used to sewing in that environment. And in fact, the Weekend Sewing Club were doing a live session on the Saturday morning, and they were all making this dress or top at the same time. So it seemed apt. I'm really pleased with the result anyway. Before I went, had a trip to our local charity shop again. I know I've talked about duvets before, and I will share a bit more about that later. But this was the purchase I made. It's 100% cotton, Laura Ashley, and it's a super king size. There's an awful lot of fabric there. So actually this week I have made an Emporia Penelope dress. I'll pop a photo up here. It's a pattern I've repeated several times. I really like it. It has a lined bodice. I've hacked the sleeves so that they're short, sort of flutter length. And I made it in a size 26, which is quite generous. I could probably size down and do a full bust adjustment, but it suits me to not have it too tight round my middle. And obviously that frill on the bottom, something I never would have thought about wearing prior to learning to sew, but it's a real favourite feature of mine now. I did lower the bust dart as well. I'd made it a couple of times and realised it was in the wrong place. So my new version of the pattern has a lowered bust dart, which just makes it that much better, a better fit. The other project I worked on at Sewing Camp is less of a success. I remember I showed you that plum coloured duvet cover that I bought in the charity shop. Lovely, lovely colour. I made the Cocoa Wawa plum dress. Now I first of all decided to make version A with the ruffle on the sleeves. And I tried on it, it just didn't suit me at all. So I actually took the sleeves off and remade it with a slightly shortened version of their long sleeve to make it bracelet length. But I'll pop a photo up here. You can see it's not my shape. I think the drop shoulders do not do me any favours. And so I shall wear this probably for work, because it doesn't matter. Nobody will see it. When I work for myself, I can wear anything I like. It's a shame, but I think it's also very, very useful and a lesson to me that toiling in a plain fabric makes you, it makes it much easier to see the shape and the fit and be quite a lot more objective about how a dress sits. So from that point of view, it was worth making. I got some really cute buttons for it as well at Sewing Camp from Aga of Buffin's Vintage Buttons. I'll pop a link below. She's gorgeous and her buttons are just incredible. So I will wear the dress for now, and when I've finished wearing it, I will take the buttons off and use them on another project because they're so, so pretty. But it's a learning curve, and that's the thing with sewing. I'm experimenting with my style, with my colour choices. Not everything is going to go to plan, and that's absolutely fine because I've learnt something along the way. And for me, that's the whole point of sewing, is to learn, to challenge my brain and end up with a lovely wardrobe at the end of it. I made the Plum in a size 4. I don't think it's particularly curve friendly, and as I say, you can see from the photo, it's not an especially flattering fit on me, but that's fine. It suits other people, so hey, I've learned something. The big project that I worked on at Sewing Camp was using the duvet that I showed you a couple of vlogs ago, the grey duvet. I worked on the Bellam night dress by Marilla Walker. Now, she is no longer designing, but she has very generously put her patterns up on her website as free downloads. So I made version B, or view B, and I just love the pattern, you know, the princess seams and the fact that you can play around with pattern placement. So I spent quite a lot of time before camp with this enormous duvet spread out on the floor trying to work out the pattern placement, but I am really pleased with the results. It's super comfy. It doesn't have pockets, so I'm probably going to go back and retrofit some pockets. But you can see, I think I've put some photos and a video up here. It's super swishy and is a lovely, lovely dress to wear. It's very comfy. There was quite a lot of detail on it that I like, just a bit different. You know, the sleeves are a different shape. But I was on a deadline to try and finish it because I wanted to buy some more fabric.
Does need pockets.
But I didn't want to buy it unless I knew that the pattern suited me. So I did spend Sunday morning making 15 buttonholes and sewing 15 buttons on by hand because they loop back, so that I knew I could try the dress on and see how it looked. And I was really, really pleased. So I did go to one of the fabric shops at Crafty Sewing Camp, and in the same way that the duvet cover had 2 different fabrics, I bought 2 fabrics that complement each other. Aren't they gorgeous? So these are from Manisha's Fancy Fabrics. She was there at camp. She has a shop via her Facebook page, and I'm really looking forward now to recreating the dress in these 2 complementary fabrics. I've got to spend quite a lot of time working out which one goes where, but that's half the fun of it, isn't it? The dress I made as per their size instructions for finished measurements. I made a size 11 and it didn't require any adjustments whatsoever. So that was really nice. It's reasonably fitted over the bodice, and then obviously the skirt is quite big, so you don't need to worry about fit too much. So that's stash in. I did take 2 bags of excess or surplus patterns and fabrics for the swaps table at camp, and it was great because other people picked them up. They were fabrics that I had maybe bought and now know that are not my colours, or things that I'd received from other people that I knew I wouldn't use. And I can't really cope with lots and lots of fabric in the wardrobe spilling out unmade. So it was really great to have a clear out, be objective about what I would and wouldn't use, and get rid of the things that I won't be using. I did pick up a few bits, which I will do a separate video about because I've completely forgotten to bring them up to the sewing room with me. But I'd say I felt justified in buying new fabric, having got rid of some. The other fabric I bought from Manisha is this. Let's see if I can show you here. An absolutely stunning border print fabric. It's a really super soft cotton. And I'm hoping to make quite a sort of big billowy dress with that border as a feature near the hem. And then probably the same for the sleeves as well. I have a vague idea as to which pattern I'll be using, but I'm not entirely sure, so I'll keep you updated on that. So, a busy week. I did spend a lot of time prior to camp pre-cutting fabric because obviously there wasn't going to be the space to cut fabric out there. So it was great to have projects in, oh, excuse me, or pre-cut in Ziploc bags. And the advantage, of course, is that I made more patterns that I knew I'd be able to make. So I've come home and I've been able to start again. I've come home and been able to sew without having to spend time cutting fabric. Now that's a new way of working for me, but actually I do quite like it. I've been really busy with work this week, catching up and catching up with customer orders and things. So it's quite nice to be able to nip up to the sewing room for maybe an hour in the evening and get straight onto the sewing machine and not worry about cutting fabric. So that's been great. So my plans for the coming week, I'm working on something I can't share with you at the moment. It's the next pattern for the Weekend Sewing Club. So that won't be revealed for a couple of weeks. I think it's the Bank Holiday Monday that it will be revealed. So I can't show you that. I will probably also be trialling a pattern that I bought from Seamwork before I went away. And that might be for this blue border fabric. I'm not sure yet, but we'll see. So I'd love to know what everyone else has been up to, what you think of my makes, any thoughts on other projects I could look at. And as ever, thank you for watching and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.